Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. After the Puja break, Subho Bijoya and welcome all. A lot of things have happened in Indian cricket and world cricket, culminating to the selection of the Indian team for the ODI and T20 in Australia and a change of guard. We will discuss all this in today's show. We have with us Ayan, Amit, and Sudeep. So basically, we have few points to discuss, starting from the West Indian test, which the test second which concluded today with a landslide and a lopsided victory for India. So we'll also discuss whether West Indies truly deserves to be playing with the top countries. And we're also going to discuss a little bit on the Irani Trophy and whether Irani Trophy really is a marker for future players to graduate into the next level, because the way the Irani Trophy is panning out with Vidarbha and rest of India. We also discuss the team against Australia. And finally, we discuss a very, very debatable topic of two of the greats of Indian cricket, two of the greatest ever of Indian cricket, Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli, whether they are phasing out. A very painful discussion, but then we'll have to, because it's a part of transition. And like the test team transition, this is also looks to be a ODI transition. So my first question to you, Sudeep, is West Indies got hammered, if that's the word, in 2.5 quarter to 3 days. Uh, the first day, I think we all watched. The last 2 days, we are keeping a track through our apps. West Indies team doesn't look like a team which can play any good side. And not only I Sena countries, I mean India and Sena. Basically, I had a feel that West Indies do not belong to a level. I mean, maybe infrastructure, maybe money issue, which Owen said the other day, and I saw today in news also that West Indies board is doing a lot of cut in their costs because of a lot of other infra issues. But certainly, for whatever reason, West Indian cricket doesn't have the talent, and they don't have the players also. They do not have a batsman, they do not have a bowler, they do not have a wicketkeeper, and getting bundled in 2.5 days. I think it is time maybe to take a call on the future of West Indian cricket. Your thought on the first test and where is West Indian cricket heading? Over to you, Sudeep.
Thank you. Thank you, Rahul. I think the way it has panned down in the last 3 days, it's very painful to see, although we should be happy seeing an Indian win, but the way it has come, it is very extremely disappointing, since we belong to the, 80s era, and we have seen the West Indies at its peak. And it is very painful for us, to watch West Indies play nowadays. It's very difficult. I mean, they are just not up to the level, to play test matches. They're most of their, the leading players, they are, I know, busy playing, the T20 leagues. Most of them are not interested in test matches. And I I think I don't find any justification, in having these kind of series. These are basically have been reduced to a farce nowadays. So I think it's a very sad thing, but I don't see any possible revival in the short term. The West Indies, something the way. I mean, I don't see any players who can perform at the highest level. It's very difficult to find any players. I think a couple of players, Shai Hope and Justin Greaves, maybe they can, with little bit more exposure, they can shine in the future. But at the present, they do not have either the bowlers nor batsmen to perform at the highest level.
We have discussed this, Sudeep, in our one of the earlier shows, what is lacking with West Indian cricket. But seeing this team, do you think any of the players? I am sorry to say, I think none of the players can play in a Ranji Trophy winning side, even Vidarbha or Mumbai. I mean, except maybe Ruston Chase. I found no
Yeah,
player good enough to play Test match. And what's your thought
yeah.
on that?
I think a couple of players, I think Justin Greaves and Shai Hope, maybe Shai Hope is the wicket keeper. I think they have shown some kind of resistance in this particular test. Maybe in the coming years, with little more exposure, they can. But still, their standard is not up to the test level. The kind of cricket West Indies is playing, it's very difficult to justify actually their. I mean, whether they should at all play test matches. But this is actually disgrace, actually. They are bringing disgrace to the nation.
Correct. So that leads me to the main question, one of the main questions of the day, and I'll request Oyon to answer that. Uh, uh, most of the cricket administrators across the globe are now thinking of dividing cricket into two tiers, with India, Sena country, and Sri Lanka maybe in tier one, and Bangladesh, Pakistan. We're assuming Afghanistan, Ireland, Kenya, and West Indies are 7 or 8 other countries. So accepting the degeneration of West Indian cricket, and I do not see it doing well in the next few years. And what's your take? I mean, you also wanted to discuss on this today morning. Do you really feel West Indies still has the grind to play with the top countries? Because Clive Lloyd said, and a very valid point, that if you do not allow us to play with the top countries, how will it grow? And if you relegate us to two, then it will take a donkey years to come back to one. So there are pros and cons in that discussion. So what is your feel on whether West Indies really belongs to the league? Are they men or they're the kids? Or if they're not belonging to this generation, then what should we go ahead? Do we relegate them and from the next cycling, which Aisha had proposed, a tier one and tier two? Over to you, Arun.
I mean, if you look at it purely in a cricketing viewpoint, absolutely West Indies does not deserve to compete with the Sena countries. I mean, what happened here was a travesty to international test cricket. You had an entirely empty stadium. It was just gaping with vacant seats. Probably maybe 100 people, 200, 500 people saw the match. So what service is being done to test cricket by hosting a match like this? Right? I mean, it is essentially creating more apathy in audiences towards test cricket, and basically just bringing down the whole quality of competition, right? Because this is a no contest. Emotionally, of course, one does feel that, West Indies were like the Brazil of football. But as I had, I'm sure you remember, Rahul, I had stressed upon the point that West Indies is not a country. West Indies is an agglomeration of many countries. And the basic, the unity factor which held them together, that is establishing the fact that the black human being is as competitive or better than whites in cricket or in any sphere in life for that matter. That was one of the key factors which drove this West Indies cricket or West Indies spirit, in terms of in the times of apartheid and all that. This was a major thing which kept West Indies very, very disparate. I mean, it's not disparate, but it's like different 13 countries, I guess. 13 countries which play under one banner, and this is probably the only sport, or maybe there is some other sport, but probably cricket is the key sport where West Indies plays in this manner. I'm not aware of any other, maybe rugby, and I don't think so. Maybe whether there are any other games where West Indies plays as a unit. So that is gone now. It is very difficult to resurrect that spirit of unity which drove this West Indies side earlier. But then still there's a legacy, there's a very long legacy. And completely throwing West Indies out of cricket is both both emotionally a factor, a thing that we cannot probably accept. Cricketing wise, it's a problem. But see, this two-tier thing is a solution. The problem there is if you have this kind of, Bangladesh and West Indies and whatever other Afghanistan and all that playing against each other, and there is obviously, again, it's like a chicken and egg problem, right? In the sense that people will not come and see the matches, so finances will not accrue, everything will fall again. So what I had suggested last time is that you have to realize that West Indies is in a state of ICU, absolutely critical stage. So ICC has to step in. I think the only way where West Indies, in fact, just is one tier, two tier, maybe a too simple a solution. What one can do is probably have the Sena countries go and play in West Indies, not have West Indies touring them. You go and play in West Indies, you create pitches, this is going to help the team. In fact, golf, there is this concept of handicap. Maybe here also something like that can be introduced where they can have player
You
changes
made a
or
very
whatever.
valid point in a very long, some time back, which Virat Kohli has said that the main, which I told you today, that the main centers should be the test centers to attract crowd. So he has in a way taken a dig at BCCI, saying that if you give the centers which are not very popular, test matches will not prosper in India, which you resonated also a few months
But
back.
Rahul, if you have a test against West Indies anywhere in India, where do you
Yeah.
think people will come? Why will they come, right? They'll come to see Roston Chase bat. I mean, come on, this is a farce of a game,
No,
right?
we have
Three,
discussed. We have discussed
um,
Arun very, at length in West Indies. What is that? What are the problems ailing West Indian cricket? So that's fine. We're not going to that. What I'm
yeah.
asking you is that right now the gap is so much that yes, people. Today if there's a test match like India versus West Indies, I think none of us will be okay to
No,
go to
no, I
India.
didn't
None of
see
us will go.
anything. I
Yeah,
can tell you,
correct.
I didn't see the match. I'm sure you also
Yeah,
didn't see the match. How many of us
correct,
saw the
correct,
match, right?
correct. So
So
now
I
my
think,
point is,
yeah.
if they go to tier two, Arun,
Hmm.
which looks the solution from 27, 29. How do finances and ICC look at it as revenue wise? That is what I'm asking you.
Yes, that is what I came to the last part of my spiel is that tier two is where cricketingly they deserve to be. But they have a legacy and they have to. We would be very happy if there's a rejuvenation in West Indian cricket. So one can also have a system where tier two countries play against each other, but tier one countries go and visit those. I mean, specifically some maybe West Indies
So you
because
are
it has a
saying
very
that
rich cricket
the
legacy.
tier two countries need not come to tier one countries, only tier one countries
Yes,
will visit them,
yes.
and
Where they
you
yes.
sell the television rights, and the money comes.
Right, right. So
That's a good point.
somehow ICC has to infuse money into West Indian cricket. They have to
That
do
is
something,
exactly a point
brainstorm.
which one of our BCCI officials said. I mean, I saw a podcast. Amit Mathur, who is the former vice president, he said that everyone wants to host India because India brings money. So it's rather India playing there. But
Yes.
do you think India, the new India, even without Virat Kohli, Ashwin, and Rohit, do you think the new India going to West Indies in the Caribbean and Antigua and Port of Spain, Barbados, will it fill up the stands? I mean, your take on that.
I see. I can tell you that if Afghanistan goes and plays, it will not fill up the stands. That is sure. If Nepal, by the way, I don't know if you're aware. We had a conversation that Nepal defeated West Indies in
Defeated West Indies.
T20.
I didn't know. I checked out
Nepal.
after that. Very surprising.
I
Yes.
mean, can you believe it? And this was a team which had Jason Holder. So this was not a team. I mean, just a West Indies A or something. It's probably a
And I
proper West
think,
Indies T20 team.
to be
They
very
lost
fair,
two
Arun,
matches, won only one.
I think
So.
Afghanistan will beat West Indies also.
Yeah, yeah,
I think they
comfortably,
will beat.
comfortably,
Comfortably, they will.
comfortably,
Comfortably, they will
comfortably.
beat. Yeah.
See, and I don't
Yeah.
even know Alzari Joseph, Shamar Joseph. These were the guys who were bowling well. I don't know why they are not playing. Maybe
Correct.
they have
Correct.
injuries,
Correct.
but I think somehow they don't want to play. So it has to, this playing for the West Indies. That as I keep on repeating, that spirit of this, getting this black voice or something that has gone. The only way that you can allure youngsters is money and something that glamour, fame, these kind of stuff. Okay, so for that, I think you have to do something that is altruistic, in the sense that one can ask the Sena countries to go and play in the West Indies, and maybe in fact, no, you don't send the best team, even
I think
send an
that
A team,
that
right?
goes on the
There will be
revenue arrangement thing. Whether
correct, and there
ICC
will
will
be
be
some
able to
competition.
distribute the
For example, if India, so one can ask, what has India to gain? So let them send, maybe three, four of their key players, and the rest can be sort of, people, players.
So it actually pans out to be an India A side mainly against the West
Maybe
Indies.
not. See, you need to have some crowd pullers. If you don't have any crowd puller, then, why will somebody go and, suppose Ishwaran
But
is selected? Why would
as
somebody
of
go and see
now,
Ishwaran to bat?
I mean, what
Right?
I see is that West Indies definitely goes into tier two. If tier two is
I
introduced,
think so.
West
Cricketingly
Indies
sure.
will. Yeah,
Yes.
because I was waiting to see the test match here, and 2.5 days is a bad
And
example for
then
cricket.
next match will be again like that, right?
Delhi,
I mean,
yeah.
they're not even batting 90 overs in two innings.
Two innings,
Two
correct.
innings, 44, 45. What is this? A joke, right? I
West
mean,
Indies degeneration has been really pathetic. I mean, really pathetic. Very, very
and
pathetic.
it's free fall now. It's free
It's
fall.
a free fall, correct.
Somehow there is no realization of the problem still. One has to, set an ambience where there is a chance for cricket to revive. Having them tour countries where they are walloped again and again, how does it help? So you
That's what
give
we
them
and
some
Philip
things
were
where they can
discussing.
win.
Yeah.
Give them a chance to win, right? So maybe you have a system where tier one
Yeah,
countries can
the
go and visit.
generation, and yeah, because the
Yeah.
new generation is not getting interested at all. If you
No,
finish
they're
up
seeing
into two
defeats
days,
after defeats, defeats after
defeats after defeats.
defeats, and it's like embarrassing defeats, right? And India also, for some reason, they played their entire team, right? Bumrah playing. This is almost India, not almost. This is the India one team. Pant did not play because
And again, I'm hearing today, Ajit Agarkar said in the press conference, Ajit Agarkar press conference is a free fall for fun. I am telling you. Today, he said Bumrah is going to play the second test also. And someone immediately commented from the behind that why is Bumrah playing the series? I mean, I'm surprised if Bumrah plays two test
gets,
matches. Surprised.
then what happens? He
And
gets injured, right?
yeah,
This
because
kind of
South
thing.
Africa series, I'm telling you, we're talking in
Yeah.
the group. South Africa is not going to be easy, even with
No,
Kuldeep
no.
Yadav. I'm telling you, it's not going to be easy. They're the world
See,
champions.
the problem with South Africa, see, India itself is no longer, the Indian fort, which was basically spinning wickets, right? That is no longer India's forte. So India's fort, I'm saying, was basically to create the spinning wickets where India.
Yeah, because Keshav Maharaj is a very, very wily
And
spinner, and
Indian batsmen are no longer able to cope up with the turning ball to the
over
level
turning
that
balls.
we had in, Saurav's time or even before. I mean, traditionally, from once
The,
Azhar
the,
started to play
the general
those type
level
of
has
wickets,
the general
it's
level has
fallen. In
dipped
fact,
very
I
badly.
do feel that probably the current crop of Indian batsmen, they probably play top quality pace better than they play top quality spin.
Actually, we'll
So
see
this
in South
can
Africa
be
very soon.
major backfire. If you create again this kind of a minefield of a pitch where the ball turns from day one, there's not something where you are
So
completely comfortable.
basically, our general idea is West Indies cricket has fallen so badly that it is really unfair for them to play the top countries. Should
So,
not. It's not a
so
good advertisement.
basically, if I can summarize, I think they should
Yeah,
be dropped to tier two, where when they
tier
visit, have these exchange series, they should do with tier two countries,
tier
but
two
the
countries.
tier one countries should go there and play.
That is a good thought
Otherwise,
because
there
you
is
never know
no,
that might come
yeah.
up because what you said
Right.
that day
Uh,
probably will happen with the top. I think
because
India has experimented
otherwise,
too
no
much
one.
with the
Yeah,
test centers.
if you just have Afghanistan and Zimbabwe playing in West Indies, that cricket will be dead and buried, right? Because
Correct.
why will a youngster go and see Zimbabwe, West Indies, or
No,
whatever?
no one, no one. I am telling you,
Okay.
if India plays West Indies at Eden, there will be 10 people to watch.
Yeah, yeah,
10
yeah.
to 15
But
people to watch.
why,
No one will watch.
why will they watch? Right? There's nothing. There's no competition in
Correct.
a game. Right?
Thank you, Ayan.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
next question is to you only, and
Mm.
this is a very tricky one because I'm thinking about the question. Rajdeep Sardesai, I asked Rajdeep this question and he came back with a very sarcastic answer. अबे देखते हैं पेड़ा तो देते हैं पेड़ा देते हैं कभी गणेश का फूल देते हैं we do not play ODIs. Ajit Agarkar accepted today that the threshold and now cricket is moving to test and T20. So ODI is a format which I think after 27 World Cup might be totally wiped off.
I agree.
We might have T10 and T20 and test cricket. So player who was at the top of the list for most of the experts and fans dropped in a format which was the
Best.
format for him. And then he comes back as a vice captain in another format. Why? Because he needs to be relieved. Because Subman Gill, all the way he's heading for an all format captain, so need to take pressure off. So Shreyas Iyer might be the captain. Now my question is two parts. ये मूली का खेत उसको दिया गया है just to stave off the Bombay lobby, which I was discussing with Sudeep before he joined in. That's one. And number two is how do you relate to this? A format which is not being played and a person, I mean, there's too much of pressure, which I hear a lot of politicians getting involved in this election. Maybe the heat on BCCI also because they are coming under the sports bill and obviously they will have to report to Manchuk, I think who's the sports minister? Kiranji, no, not Kiranji, Manchuk Mandiva, I think. So they will be reporting to sports minister, good or bad, we're not discussing. My question, Ayan, is this Shreyas Iyer issue, this unsavory issue in which famous journalist Rajdeep Sardesai says that with no uncertainty, he says that it was a bad selection. Glaring example, that's the word he used, glaring. And number two, now making him vice captain. And in a format which is not played, and then Rajit Agarkar then coming up saying that, oh, we need to have him as a backup. So what's your take on this very, very, I mean, this is getting a little murky now, this Ajit Agarkar.
Right. No,
This Shreyas Iyer. So what is your take on the ODI? And say again, Shreyas Iyer not in T20 team. He should have been in the T20 team if you are a vice captain in a 50 and then the vice captain in the 50. Your take on this entire nonsense happening?
So I think the BCCI has taken this vice captainship as a means of communicating messages to players. I think Jadeja was made vice captain for saying thank you for all your services to Indian cricket, because that was another step which was very retrogressive. Why would you have a person
Yeah. So
on
thank
the
you,
verge of retirement?
and then drop from the ODI side.
Yeah, so
Thank you, and then
correct.
drop from the ODI side.
So for Shreyas, I believe this is a way of saying sorry. That you were dropped from the T20 side, so now you are taken into one days, and you are made
Hmm.
vice captain.
Yeah.
So you are there.
So
We care about you.
Jadeja was thank you. This one is
Thank you.
sorry.
This is one is
This
sorry.
one- Okay.
Okay. So
Hmm.
and if I look at if you're seeing going away from these non-cricketing points of view, what may be a fact is that Shreyas is still one of our best players in the limited format. There's no doubt,
Absolute
right?
white ball. There's no doubt about it.
And especially now, if you think of the ways SKY played in the T20 thing in the Asia Cup, he didn't have a single success run. There is a big possibility that Shreyas will come
Sudeep
back
was
in the
discussing this, and
T20
Sudeep has
side.
been very vocal on this. And he's saying that Shreyas Sky will go anytime he might go. And
Right.
Shubman Gill will become the captain in T20 World Cup, which I also feel.
So that's very,
Yeah.
very, very possible. And
Yeah.
I think Shreyas has to be there. And the message that is probably being sent to Shreyas is that we need you in the team. Whatever happened in the past, please forget and forgive.
If Subman Gill becomes a captain in T20 also, then obviously Shreyas will have to be the backup here, because then Shubman will not be able to play all three formats. So the workload
Absolutely.
management puts him as a captain.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So basically, what they want to, I think they want to communicate to Shreyas is that at least in the limited version of the game, he's very much a part of the team management's plan, and the fact that he's done a stellar job in the IPL as captain. He has made KKR win. It's not the greatest side.
KKR has a win,
Carried
and
KKR on his shoulders.
Punjab Kings
Punjab
has
also single-handedly took to the finals. Right, they finally failed, but I think he's done a fantastic job as a captain. He is the guy who deserves to be captain of Indian T20.
So my question to you, Arun,
right?
my question is this a pressure of the famous Mumbai lobby pressure that they caved in?
That also can be, because I think they did not expect the kind of backlash they got after dropping Shreyas in the Asia Cup. People like Rajdeep came and said that that was a strange thing that he said that he would not be too disappointed. Well, he didn't say it exactly, but he said that if India lost also, the fact that the inclusion of Shreyas could be a very important point.
And immediately after our show, Rajdeep went to Hyderabad for the South Conclave of India Today, where he invited DK, the Dinesh Karthik, and he was very categoric that it was a huge mistake, and he repeated that.
Right? So I guess... So I guess having
yes.
Shreyas in the one-day side and giving him responsibility, and also saying that once he's vice captain, if there are issues with Gill, he will still be the captain. There will be issues with Gill, and he's also. I've been happy with the way Gill sort of handled the side at England. Though I must say that there are some things which I thought there were problems. For example, one thing that I kept on seeing Gill do is that field placements. He would have a field placement, and then he kept some part of the field empty, and there would be a 4 in that region. Immediately, he would put a player there, would put a fielder there. This is bad captaincy. Because you do not work for a bad ball.
Correct.
You do not work for a bad ball. Right? So I remember, Rahul, this thing, I laughed. The one with fond memories of cricket. When Saurabh Ganguly was captaining, his first away series at West Indies. I think it was in Trinidad, right? Where India beat West Indies, right? They had a chase. They were doing some 330 runs they were chasing. Lara was batting. Srinath was bowling extremely well.
Yeah.
Lara's wicket was the key wicket. India had to get Lara's wicket. And Saurabh had set a field to a plan. Now, and they had a 6-3 field, I think. 6 on the off, 3 on the on. And then Srinath bowled a ball on Lara's pads and got thrashed. What I remember was the camera focused on Srinath, and the first reaction that Srinath gave was look at mid-on and say, sorry, my mistake. Please don't get angry. And you could see he was not like Sachin that he would go and give a talk, but he just stared at Srinath, and there was no change in field. So the fact was that the plan had been set, and Srinath had bowled a bad ball, and so the captain
make a very, very valid point, Arun,
because
a great captain does not get shaken. They don't get shaken by if there is a problem.
if a bowler bowls a bad ball, you go and admonish the bowler. You don't change the field. And in fact, Lara fell in that plan. He was caught sneaking outside off stump, if I remember correctly.
So you,
Right? So Gill has a lot
yeah,
of paths to go, lot of journey to
yeah,
make.
obviously.
So if he
He
has
is,
a, senior player around him, see Rohit, there are issues now. We will probably come to that later. I mean,
yeah.
Rohit, I don't think is very happy that he's been, taken down or whatever. And we don't even know how long Rohit will play because
Uh,
I think physically he's very unfit.
I
He does not
think
look like a
I think
cricketer anymore.
Rohit was pushed to leave the test matches, which I have information that he was pushed to leave the captaincy in
I
test
mean,
matches also.
I
And then
think,
Gill became the captain.
I
And
think,
here
see,
also they have been pushed. Both he and
I mean,
Kohli has been pushed.
see, there was a lot of controversy about. I think one Congress leader had made a tweet about how
Mm,
Rohit did not look
mm,
as a
mm,
cricketer.
mm.
I mean, there was a lot of
Correct.
backlash. I think the person
Mm.
faced, but there was some truth to it, right? I mean, he's become like a roly-poly player, right? I mean, he does not look like a fit athlete. Can he really chase a ball for 2-3 times to the boundary and come up with a throw and get people run out? I
I
don't
think
think he
in
looks like that,
Indian cricket
right?
is trying to be like Australian cricket. It's trying to be ruthless. It's trying to be
Yeah,
ruthless.
but
That's what
what
Indian
you
is.
do, I mean, Rahul, you would not have a player looking like Rohit Sharma in Australia. Come on, you think of the old players
I
Australia
think
had
what Ajit
Hussey
Agarkar is
or
trying,
Steve
I am
Waugh.
not a great fan
They,
of Agarkar and Gambhir.
yeah,
Neither of
but
them I don't like.
they,
But in white ball, I would agree, Aaron, that they're trying to make the side for 27. And
absolutely,
in that scheme,
absolutely,
you would agree, Rohit
absolutely
doesn't fit in. Rohit does
doesn't
not
fit
fit
in,
in.
and
Doesn't fit in.
somehow he's not even trying to get his body into shape. Right, and that's what I'm telling you. Look, think of England, Australia, these or New Zealand, any of these Sena countries. You will not have a cricketer playing in the short format of the game or in any format of the game who looks like Rohit Sharma. I mean, you did have David Boone and all in Australia, but Boone was shaped like that, and of course, those were the 90s. You will not have players, who are not outstanding
Agreed,
athletes.
Aaron, agreed.
You will not
I think
have players like that in
I
short
only
format.
have an issue with Shreyas Iyer being a captain in T20 and not playing. I mean, a vice captain in 50 over and not being a part of T20 side. I'm still able to understand. Someone will come and
I
make me
think
understand.
I see that
Yeah.
if he's dropped in the World Cup, I'll be very, very surprised. I don't think Shreyas will be dropped in the World Cup. I'll be very
You're saying that
surprised.
he will go into
T20.
T20. He will go.
I feel yeah. I mean that will be a very stupid omission, right? Because we saw the way India batted. See the final we would have lost
I think
if this guy had not.
Shivam Dubey, I don't know, Shivam Dubey and
No,
Rinku Singh, both I have doubts in the
absolutely,
midfield. Rajdeep also
absolutely
said the
right.
same thing.
I
I don't
mean,
know. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know how you can take a Shivam Dubey in a World Cup. I don't know. I don't know.
No, but
I have issues.
sort of played well in the final. Oh, I mean, but then at the same time, the final, India were in deep trouble, right? It was that one great innings played by this guy. That is
So
why
you are saying Shreyas Iyer for you is a way of saying sorry. That's a sorry package.
and also as somebody who can lead Gill by the hand and help him
And
in running the team.
running with him because Gill will not be able to be on all formats. Correct.
In not
I
all
think
formats,
so.
there are some stuff where I think Gill has to learn in his captaincy journey. He's just started it. I think India showed a lot of fight in the England Test series, which I really like because that
Correct.
fight
Correct.
had almost gone out. And I think
Right.
Gill has managed to get that back, which is very good.
Back.
But this reactive captaincy thing has to go. You cannot set a plan.
I think we have to give him some time. He will
Yeah,
learn.
yeah.
I think
So
this
there,
was
I
his
think
first series.
Shreyas is useful because Shreyas being there, he has a lot of experience. He's a very, very level-headed character. Cool,
Correct.
he's very cool and calm and all. He can actually help Gill run the team.
Correct. Correct. Thank you, Ayan.